At exactly 8:06 a.m., a federal subpoena signed by Jasmine Crockett was delivered to the private residence of Ginny Thomas. There are moments in American history that don't ask for attention. They command it. That Tuesday morning, while most of the country was pouring its first cup of coffee or scrolling headlines, something happened in a quiet neighborhood in Northern Virginia that no one saw coming. A black government SUV pulled up to a gated property. Two agents stepped out. One carried a sealed envelope marked with a golden federal seal. The name printed in bold, Virginia Lamp Thomas. The subpoena was not personal. It carried the full weight of the Federal Judicial Oversight Committee. At the bottom, a single signature, Jasmine Crockett. 12 minutes later, the first tweet broke. Breaking. Jasmine Crockett subpoenas Ginny Thomas, wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. By 8:45 a.m., it was the lead story. By 9:11 a.m., Ginny Thomas was walking into a public hearing on live television. This wasn't behind closed doors. This was intentional, transparent, public. She entered through the east entrance of the Capitol wearing a slate gray coat. Her face was unreadable. Two attorneys flanked her. One clutched a folder. The other held what appeared to be a pre-written statement. But inside the chamber there would be no script. Jasmine Crockett was already seated, silent. She didn't rise. She didn't shift. She just waited. Ginny approached the witness chair. Once the room settled, Crockett spoke. Not loud, not angry, calm. Mrs. Thomas, are you here today of your own will or under suggestion from your husband's counsel? The room fell still. Cameras zoomed. Ginny shifted slightly. One attorney leaned in but said nothing. The question wasn't legal. It was surgical. From that moment on, this wasn't about just one witness. It was about proximity to power. For weeks, whispers had swirled about a sealed oversight initiative. Rumors of missing disclosures, unexplained meetings, emails gone unreturned. But no one anticipated this. The wife of a sitting justice, subpoenaed before the nation. Critics called it reckless. Supporters called it brave. But the subpoena had been delivered. The hearing was underway. The air in the room was heavy with attention. Cameras clicked, pens scribbled. A heartbeat echoed somewhere. Jasmine Crockett remained composed. She reached into her binder and retrieved a single sheet marked Confidential, November 2020. She slid it onto the table and read aloud, Clarence is in. Delay helps us all. The room gasped. One of Ginny's attorneys objected. Crockett said nothing. Then, after a pause, repeated the question. Did you write that email, Mrs. Thomas? Ginny leaned forward, her fingers intertwined. I don't recall writing that. Crockett placed a second page beside the first. This one, a metadata report. Timestamps, IP logs, printer ID, all linked to the Thomas residence. Crockett's voice dropped. This was printed from your home, using your personal device and printer. Is that correct? The silence was deafening. News alerts fired in real time. Social media exploded. But Crockett didn't chase reactions. She built her case. The committee chair asked if she wished to proceed. Crockett nodded and produced a silver USB drive. She handed it off. It was inserted. 3 folders appeared on screen. G emails, C calls, LFM notes. A voice played through the chamber's audio system. Calm. Familiar. Clarence won't block it. I made sure. Just get the delay. No name, no timestamp. But the implication rang clear. Ginny looked down. Her attorney reached for her forearm. The clip didn't accuse. It confirmed. Crockett waited before speaking again. Mrs. Thomas, are we speaking today as a citizen, a spouse, or someone who understands what constitutional accountability means? No objection. No answer. Only silence. Because everyone watching knew this was about something deeper than politics. It was about trust, transparency, and truth. Ginny eventually spoke. I'm here as myself. Her voice was measured, but it lacked resonance. Crockett didn't respond. She turned a page in her binder, still watching, still waiting. Then she asked, "Were you advised by anyone affiliated with the court on how to respond to this committee?" A question with stakes. A yes could implicate the court. A no, if false, would be perjury. Guinea's lawyer whispered something. Guinea replied softly, "I've spoken with legal counsel." "That's all I'll say." Crockett acknowledged and pressed forward. "Let's talk about the 7th of November. What did delay mean to you?" Again, no accusation, just a shift in pressure. Then came the 6 emails, each closing with the phrase, "We have the inside lane." Crockett asked what it meant. Guinea called it a figure of speech. A figure of speech referencing access to the highest court during active litigation. Guinea flinched. Her lawyer requested a recess. The committee chair turned to Crockett. She shook her head. "We'll break after one last point for the record. On November 9th, 2020, an email was sent from Guinea's account. Subject, hold the line. Body, we can freeze this. Clarence is steady, no ruling until January." "That gives us room to maneuver," Crockett asked. "Did you write this?" Guinea didn't answer directly. "I may have been in communication. I don't recall the exact language." "Understood," Crockett replied. Then came the financials. Crockett introduced a folder showing PAC transfers totaling $1.2 million to Liberty Foundation during a period where the court was considering politically charged cases. She listed the donors. She noted that Guinea Thomas was executive director. She asked if Clarence Thomas knew about the donations. Guinea answered cautiously, "We keep our professional lives separate, even when donations fund a foundation that bears your name." Crockett noted that $1.1 million in funds were unaccounted for. Not illegal, but untracked. Guinea's lawyer objected. Crockett countered, "This is within our scope." She laid out the trail, then introduced a black binder, Internal Liberty Foundation memo. It outlined funding strategies targeting judicial narratives. 3 recipient organizations had filed amicus briefs in pending Supreme Court cases. Their language mirrored Liberty Foundation's internal publications. Crockett asked, "Did you authorize this?" Guinea replied, "I can't speak to every internal document, but you were executive director. You signed the board minutes." Guinea didn't answer. Then came the quote, "We're not accusing you of writing a ruling. We're asking if you wrote the context around it." The room stopped breathing, then the silver USB drive returned. No label, no theatrics, just facts. "Madam Chair, I request entry of these files into the record. All authenticated, all whistleblower verified. A 43-second audio clip played. Clarence won't block it. I made sure. The memo is ready for Liberty. Just copy it into the draft and send to C first by midnight." Crockett asked, "Is this your voice?" Guinea didn't speak. Her lawyer whispered. She stayed silent. And that silence thundered. Then a second recording. A male voice. Former PAC strategist. Dan Gessler. She said Clarence would stall it till post-holiday. Said we'd need the time to secure the Georgia situation. "I trust her." Crockett asked, "Do you dispute knowing Mr. Gessler?" Guinea didn't reply. Because by then, it wasn't about denying. It was about the weight of what wasn't said. And it wasn't over. Crockett still had more questions, but the nation had already begun asking its own. Not because she demanded it, because the evidence whispered something undeniable. And America was listening. At exactly 10:12 a.m., after a full 12 minutes of tense silence, Representative Jasmine Crockett leaned forward, not aggressively, but deliberately. She wasn't searching for sound bites. She was threading a needle through decades of unspoken privilege. "Mrs. Thomas," she began, her voice low and leveled, "you said you keep your professional and personal lives separate. Would you like me to enter into evidence the calendar invite titled Clarence's Delay Strategy Call, 11/12? Guinea blinked. One of her attorneys visibly tensed. A soft murmur rippled through the chamber. Crockett continued, pulling out a printout. This calendar entry was recovered from a Liberty Foundation internal admin account. The invitees include your Gmail address, a PAC strategist, and a private contact listed only as CCT Direct. Would you like to clarify who that is? The room froze. Outside the chamber, people were refreshing live stream feeds, poring over every word, every screenshot, every leak. On cable news, analysts were already calling this the most consequential hearing since Watergate. But Crockett didn't flinch. She didn't gloat. She simply waited for the truth to reveal itself. Guinea finally spoke. I cannot verify the source of that document without proper forensic authentication. Crockett nodded slowly. Understood. We've already done that. A staffer passed a sealed report to the committee clerk. Time-stamped, certified, authenticated. The room swelled with a collective gasp. Then Crockett dropped the next piece. Did you attend a private event on December 3rd, 2020, hosted by Mr. Leonard Leo in McLean, Virginia? Guinea hesitated. I've attended many events. I would need more context. Crockett raised a photo. Crystal clear. Guinea seated at a round table beside Leo and 3 senior members of a Federalist-aligned nonprofit. Ma'am, this image is from a security feed at the Langdon House, an off-the-record location for coordination meetings. Do you deny attending this meeting? I attended as a private citizen. Crockett didn't blink. And at that meeting were draft talking points distributed regarding the integrity of the 2020 election, the urgency of judicial delay, and the mobilization of legal leverage through the court? Guinea said nothing. Crockett tapped the table once. Let me read a portion of a memo recovered from that evening's agenda. Clarence understands. The court doesn't need to rule. It needs to stall. Our victory isn't legal. It's psychological. Gasps. Audible now. The gallery stirred. Staffers whispered. Aides leaned in. Even the committee chair shifted in her seat. But Crockett wasn't done. She turned to the clerk. Play track 9. An audio recording filled the chamber. Clarence's voice. Measured. Unmistakable. I won't stop the count. But I can slow the opinion process. They don't need a ruling. They need the confusion. Silence. Guinea. Thomas looked pale. Her attorney whispered something urgent. She didn't respond. Crockett looked up one final time. This hearing isn't about marriage. It's about proximity to power. It's about whether the highest court in this country was leveraged, not by public mandate, but by private strategy. The committee chair turned toward her. Do you have more, Representative Crockett? Jasmine looked at the clock. 10:41 a.m. I have 47 more files, but this one will do for today. She closed her binder. Outside, every headline changed at once.